Hey, John, what if the United States started World War III?
That's a crazy thought. Let's see what would happen.
Imagine waking up one morning to breaking news. The United States has declared war. It's not a small conflict. It's the start of something humanity feared for generations. World War III has officially begun, and there's no going back now. Global markets crash, communication networks fail, and the internet becomes a weapon itself. Within hours, panic spreads as sirens echo across cities around the world. Every nation scrambles for safety, alliances shift, and chaos begins to rule. The U.S. cites national defense, but the true trigger remains hidden from the public. Some say it started with a cyber attack. Others claim it began in secret space missions. The truth doesn't matter anymore. The war machine is awake and hungry. Billions of lives hang in the balance as superpowers prepare their deadliest moves. The first strike doesn't come from missiles. It comes from invisible code. America launches a massive cyber offensive against China and Russia's infrastructure. Power grids fail, satellites go offline, and GPS networks collapse overnight. Digital warfare replaces bullets. Lines of code crash economies and silence communications. In a few minutes, global trade and banking systems completely freeze. Panic hits the public. No access to money, no information, no trust. The world realizes that in the modern era, wars don't start with soldiers anymore. They start with hackers, firewalls, and digital silence. China retaliates instantly, targeting U.S. satellites orbiting above the Pacific. Space turns into the new battlefield. Silent, cold, and unforgiving. Lasers, drones, and high-orbit weapons fill the skies. Communication satellites explode, raining debris over oceans and uninhabited lands. Suddenly, the internet, television, and navigation systems vanish from half the planet. The age of information collapses in a single day. With chaos in the skies, ground forces begin to move. NATO allies activate emergency defense systems while Asian nations tighten their borders. Across Europe, military sirens blare. Soldiers march for the first time in decades. The world begins to divide again, East versus West, power against power. The United States deploys fleets across the Atlantic and Pacific simultaneously. Massive aircraft carriers move like floating cities, each armed with nuclear potential. But in this new era, combat is faster, colder, and more invisible. Drone swarms patrol the skies, scanning everything that moves below. Artificial intelligence guides missiles with terrifying precision. Soldiers wear neural-linked helmets, reacting faster than human reflexes allow. Modern warfare has become less about bravery, more about algorithms. China counters with electromagnetic weapons, disabling fleets without firing a single bullet. Russia launches orbital sky mines designed to destroy satellites mid-transmission. Global communication disappears. Only military radio waves cut through static. And within days, civilian panic erupts into complete societal collapse. Grocery stores empty, governments hide, and humanity stands on the edge. Then comes the sound no one ever wanted to hear. Nuclear alarms. The first detonation occurs in the Pacific Ocean as a warning shot. The shockwave is visible from space, shaking the world into silence. The fear of nuclear winter returns for the first time since the Cold War. Global temperatures drop, skies darken, and panic spreads like wildfire. The idea of deterrence dies. Fear no longer stops anyone from striking back. Russia responds with a high-altitude electromagnetic pulse over Europe. Cities go dark instantly, wiping out all remaining electronics. Within seconds, 21st century civilization vanishes into 19th century darkness. Humanity realizes technology was its greatest weapon and its weakest armor. The U.S. prepares a full counterstrike while its citizens flee to underground shelters. The president authorizes Operation Shieldstorm, deploying global drone fleets and missile silos. The world watches live broadcasts of destruction until all screens go black. The last global communication stops mid-sentence, leaving silence behind. No one knows where the next missile will land. A single mistake now means total annihilation. Analysts call it the 5-minute window, the time before Earth burns. Military generals across all nations hesitate, hands trembling over red buttons. Humanity stands still, one command away from extinction. And then, the unthinkable happens. A misfired missile crosses into enemy airspace. The retaliation is instant. Explosions ripple across multiple continents. Satellite footage shows entire cities glowing in the dark. Tokyo, Berlin, Moscow. The atmosphere fills with dust, smoke, and radiation. Humanity's brightest lights turn into its own funeral fire. Billions die within weeks. Borders become meaningless. Survivors struggle under gray skies. No sunlight, no warmth. Nuclear winter begins. Temperatures drop below freezing worldwide. Agriculture collapses. Oceans turn acidic. Rain burns skin like acid. Civilization officially ends where it once began, in fear. But not everyone perishes. Deep underground, survivors emerge from hidden shelters carrying hope and regret. Decades pass, and children grow up never knowing what light bulbs were. The sky remains dim, filled with dust and fading auroras from ruined satellites. History becomes legend, a tale of nations that burned their own world. Old flags fade into ash, and humanity starts again with empty hands. Cities are replaced by small farming settlements powered by wind and muscle. Technology becomes taboo, a ghost story whispered around campfires. People carve new laws into stone, promising never to repeat their ancestors' mistakes. But human curiosity always finds a way back. Generations later, someone rediscovers old blueprints, remnants of lost technology. They study circuits, chips, and burned machines, trying to rebuild the past. Scientists rise again, cautious yet ambitious, determined to restore progress. But even now, the scars of war remain visible from orbit. Earth never truly recovers. Its skies remain dim and cracked with radiation. The oceans, once blue, are now silver under toxic clouds. Humanity walks the line between evolution and extinction. Those who survived learned that victory means nothing if no one's left to celebrate. Nations no longer exist, only humans united by survival. From the ashes, a quiet peace returns. Fragile, silent, sacred. And yet, whispers remain. Who truly started the war? Was it the United States, or was it all of us together? Maybe the real enemy wasn't a nation, but human pride itself. Power, greed, and fear. The three sparks that burned the planet. Every war begins with words, but ends in silence. The silence of loss. The silence of lessons learned too late. Humanity's arrogance met its limit, and the earth made sure it remembered. The survivors looked to the stars, wondering if anyone else made it out alive. Somewhere above, broken satellites drift, reminders of a world that once glowed. Their lights flicker one last time before fading into the endless dark. Maybe this was the reset Earth always needed, a forced return to humility. Maybe the end of war isn't peace, but the beginning of awareness, because if humans can destroy everything they built, they can rebuild it too, but only if they learn from the silence, not repeat it. The next civilization might never know electricity, but they'll know empathy. They'll teach their children not to chase power, but to protect it. History may forget the names of generals, but it will remember the consequences. The cost of one decision to press a button that ended the world. So, what if the U.S. really started World War III? Maybe it already began. In us. Subscribe to What If Bro, where imagination meets science. And and every story sparks life.